Welcome to Mom's Life Made Simple, the podcast for moms who want to go from chaos to calm, from overwhelmed to organized, and to find balance between family responsibilities and personal growth. I'm your host, Chanel Nielsen. Let's make mom life simple. Hello and welcome to the Mom's Life Made Simple podcast. I'm your host, Chanel Nielsen, and I'm joined today by Emmy Loumeau. Emmy, thank you for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you, Chanel. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Emmy is a certified holistic and integrative nutrition health coach that helps motivated women overcome exhaustion, emotional distress, and wellness overwhelm to create more energy, equanimity, and optimized health so they can look, feel, and be their best. And Emmy is going to be a great resource for us this month as we talk about getting more and better sleep in February. So that's the challenge that we're working on this month. And Emmy, I would love to just start off with learning a little more about you and kind of what got you into holistic health? What kind of your story? Let's start there.
Oh, thank you. Well, prior to becoming a health coach, I'm actually a graphic designer by trade, and I was working as a graphic designer for a long time. I got married, had my 2 kids. I was still freelancing, but unfortunately, when my youngest daughter was around maybe 4 or 5 years old, I started feeling very, very sick and exhausted. I had a lot of pain. And after a year where I had so much pain and actually was very sleep deprived, I had a lot of trouble falling asleep, which made my fatigue even worse and my exhaustion and my pain even worse. I started investigating a little bit more what was going on, and I ended up being diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. So by this diagnosis, I thought I was going to be okay, but it was just the beginning. I really had to start doing a lot of lifestyle changes. And one of the main ones that I did was finding out the best way for me to get rest. And that was finding what my sleep hygiene was going to look like, what it was exactly. And holistically, I'll also looking into my nutrition, my movement or exercise, my emotional management, and just looking on all areas of my life. But I can honestly say that my favorite one and the one I really stick to is getting my really good sleep every night. I still do, even now that I'm a lot better, but that's my priority.
Okay, awesome. So that leads me to ask why? Of all the things that you can choose, and being, a nutrition and health coach and really knowing your stuff, why do you choose to prioritize sleep?
Well, it's during sleep that our body is able to really detoxify and recharge. So even if I were eating healthy, I was getting my movement and being able to manage my emotions. If I didn't get my hours sleep into the night, or even not only getting the hours I needed to sleep, but I was even able to figure out that I needed to sleep, for example, from 5 in the morning to 8. Even if I slept for 7 hours, but at that time I did not sleep, I had a very bad day.
Interesting.
So I just started experimenting with my own life. And before pandemic, I used to get up at 5 in the morning to get up with my kids and take them to school. And it was in pandemic that I realized that I was getting up a little bit later because, homeschool started later. And I started realizing that I was sleeping better and I had more energy during the day. And that made me realize that it didn't matter if I went to bed at 9 or 10, but if I was able to sleep past 6:37, I had a better day. And it didn't have to do with having 7 hours of sleep, 8 or 9 or 10. It just had that bracket for some reason in me had an impact. And the reason I prioritize in my sleep is specifically that, because I have been eating healthy for a long time. I've been with this condition for almost 9 years this year. And by prioritizing my sleep, I can really see the difference. And it has really helped me. I have more energy for my kids. I am more focused. I don't have that much brain fog. I'm able to be like more clarity in my mind and my thinking. And as moms, that we have to be sharp at all times.
Yes. Okay, I love that. That is so interesting. And I just, especially the part of experimenting, that's what stands out to me so much in your story, is this idea we can hear different things about sleep, whether that's how many hours you need to get or what time to go to bed or whatever, but figuring out what is it for me. And I love how you kind of brought it all together of why it matters, because even if you're doing these other things, sleep can just throw everything off, right? Sleep can, I'm doing so good at nutrition, but if you didn't get the sleep to let your body detoxify and relax, it's not like it doesn't matter, but it doesn't do as good for your body. Sleep is just kind of that key that holds it all together. So I really like that. Now, one of the things that is really important to you, I know, and is something that you teach in your coaching, is about understanding our personal energy levels. And I want to talk about that. How can we better understand about ourselves, our own personal energy levels? And then how does that relate to sleep?
Well, first of all, it relates in the way that if you do have a better night's sleep, the next day you're going to have more energy and you're going to be more focused. But also, to be able to have a good night's sleep, you also need to make sure everything else in your life is going okay. So the tips that you do get to better your sleep hygiene, like eat 2 hours before you go to bed. That's something really important. See if your mattress is comfortable, if your pillow is comfortable, your sheets are comfortable, the temperature of your room, trying to keep it in the cooler side, and trying to not be in your devices at night. So all these things are collaterals that do apply to help you have a better night's sleep. But if you're having something emotional that is affecting you too much, I have seen that even if you have a good night's sleep, you might still wake up a little bit, maybe a little bit down. So I really like to focus on your holistic wellness, because even though sleep is a very important pillar, if you're trying to focus on sleeping as a very important pillar, for example, if you're going through a very stressful or emotional moment in your life, you might want to add at night something that is going to help you relax. If that may be some prayer, if that can be some mindfulness moments or a bath or something that can help you. So this is going to complement your sleep so that you can wake up better. You can have more energy, and you have let that the night before, you have spent time for yourself so that this emotional situation that you might be going through is not going to impact you in a bad sense. The other thing is I really believe that you can hear everybody might be an expert in sleep or this or that, but you are the expert in you. So it's this experimenting that it's something that if we are very mindful of doing it, it's going to be easier for you to figure out what's good for you. I like to use, for example, journals, even if it's digital or if you like to write, and try to see patterns of what happens and why you wake up better one day and not the other day. Also, because if you're still menstruating, this has also an impact in your health, and it has an impact in your energy levels. So it's going to be very different, the energy you're going to have before you get your period than with the one that you get. You're more energetic when you don't have your period and you're almost in your ovulatory phase. So just getting to know your body and getting to know the signals that your body is giving you. because our body's always speaking to us. If we're tired, there has to be something. If we have some ache anywhere, it's trying to tell us something. So I think the other aspect of helping you figure out how to be more energetic is to find out what works for you.
Yeah. This is also good. So I love this concept of, if we want more sleep, then we need to make sure everything else is working out, and everything else has to be in place in order for us to get more sleep. So it's kind of this cycle of, a positive reinforcing cycle, right? I don't remember how you say that, but as one thing gets better, the other thing gets better. And if we try to just focus and say like, okay, I'm just going to get better at sleep, we can't just get better at sleep in isolation. And that's kind of what I hear you saying is, and it probably comes from your background as a holistic health coach, like it all works together. If you only try to get better at sleep without improving everything else, you're not going to be able to. And circling back to your own story, you mentioned that you had struggled with a lot of pain and sleep deprivation, but you had trouble falling asleep. And so to me, that just goes to show, as you figured things out in your life, how to take care of yourself, how to be more healthy and what that looked like for you, that led into more and better sleep, like we're talking about this month.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm curious then, as people see that there's a problem with their sleep and they're like, okay, well, either they have an experience similar to you where they have trouble falling asleep, or they're waking up in the night, or whatever the case may be, where can people start to improve this? You mentioned sleep hygiene. Where do people kind of begin if they know they need some improvement in their sleep?
I think maybe a checklist would be, okay, I want to start sleeping better. So regarding your eating schedules, make sure you eat at least 2 hours before bedtime. As I mentioned before, try to make sure. I have had clients that they didn't notice they hadn't changed their mattress in years. And they changed it, and like it was a big turnout for them. So try to see if your mattress is okay, if it's still comfortable for you. Sometimes we like more firm mattresses, and then we like more soft ones. Just make sure you have the one that works for you, that you don't have any pain when you wake up. Your pillow, try to see if it's okay, if it's adjusted to the way your neck is, so that you feel better and you feel well when you wake up. Water intake, try to make sure you do the water intake during the day, so that if you're one of those women who has to wake up at night, try to see if this is one of the reasons you are waking up at night, because having a test to figure out if it's in contingency or if it's really just drinking too much water. So this is a great way to reduce the effects of trying to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. The other thing is, try not to leave your cell phone on your nightstand. Leave it away from you, and it's going to help you from the EMFs, and it's going to help you not to want to grab it first thing in the morning. And the other thing would be, this is something I really like. Good sleep begins in the morning. And this is something that is very important. And the reason it is because when we wake up in the morning, our body is going to stop producing melatonin. But our eyes need to see the light outside. It needs to see the sun, or it needs to see the brightness outside, even if it's gloomy where you're at. And this is going to have the signal through your eyes to your brain to stop producing melatonin, and it's going to activate the natural response of creating cortisol. And by doing this, you're recharging the first thing your body needs to make sure that at night you're going to do better. Because if the first thing we do is grab our phone and look at the blue lights, and then we go and just be inside the house, it's not going to be the same thing. So this is something that someone can try out. And of all these things I'm telling you guys, try one a day. Okay, I'm going to try this, and try it for 3 days. And then another one. So it's not that overwhelming. You don't have to do this checklist every night and feel like it's a military thing, because we're trying to be relaxed. We're trying to just find out what works for us. Perhaps most of us are already eating an early dinner because we have it with our kids, and then they go to bed, and then we're doing something else. So maybe that's not going to be that hard. But those are the things that I would invite you to try.
Yeah, I love those, because that's what we're all about here, right? Like, those are simple little things that are going to make a big impact over time. And I especially love the idea of starting, good sleep starts in the morning, because it really is so powerful for me to think about these little tiny things that we do first thing in the morning and then throughout our day that make a difference at night. And then if you get good night's sleep, you're set up to have a good day the next day. And it's just continuing on and on. So little tiny things like going outside in the morning, seeing the sunlight, just really sets you up to have a better day, a better night's sleep, a better day the next day, and on and on. So those are really good. Now, when you are working with someone as a client and they come to you and they're like, Emmy, I am tired all the time. What would kind of be, what would you do to help in that situation?
Well, as I have mentioned, I like to see a holistic approach to everybody's health and wellness. So I usually ask questions about their lifestyle. This includes what they eat, how they manage their emotions. I also like to know if they have had lab tests done recently. Sometimes they may be anemic. They may have some mineral or supplement deficiency. So I try to look at all these things to make sure we focus on what needs to work on first. And this also has to do the way that if they have self-care or not, if they're able to make sure to prioritize themselves, even for a little bit, because I know mom's life can be hectic. But I usually ask many questions and try to figure out what their day is like.
Yeah.
And
I
then we
love
go
that.
about in working. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's something that, okay, I think we get caught up in so often trying to compartmentalize, like, okay, it's all about sleep, so I'm going to work on sleep. And I love this idea of looking at the whole lifestyle. And I think that for me, this is the second expert interview we've had on this topic, that's what's really coming home to me, is that sleep is part of the bigger picture, and that so many elements play into sleep. It's part of, yes, a healthy lifestyle, and it kind of makes all the other things fit together. And so I love that idea of looking at people as entire people, and sleep is very important, but just one piece of the puzzle that is then affected by all of these other pieces. So my last question for you, and then we're going to kind of head into more things about Emmy. How does sleep tie into making mom life simple, since that's what this podcast is all about?
Well, first of all, I remember the days that I didn't sleep well and I had to just be with my little ones. Your head doesn't, you can't focus. You're just going on autopilot the whole day. And then you get to that night and probably you can't take the tantrums of the babies that well. So it's just like we have said before, it's this important pillar that really, by prioritizing it, is going to really help you be a better mom, because you're more peaceful, you're rested, you wake up and you're refreshed, you have more energy, and you're able to be a better person, a better mom for your kids and for your family. So I do believe that it makes it simpler because it's not simple,
Yeah.
but we're trying to make it more simple here. And it's just being a mom is very demanding, and we ourselves put so many pressure on us that we really want to do a good job being a good mom. We love our kids, we love our family, and if we are not able to show up for ourselves first, then we won't be able to show up for them. And having a good night's sleep is definitely a way to just wake up better, being more refreshed, and just also going a little bit off topic here, but your immune system is going to be healthier.
Yeah.
And with little ones, they're sick all the time, and you don't want to be sick too, because moms can't get sick. So
Yep.
so it's like a part of this whole cycle that we've been discussing. And I can really, if someone is listening to this and you are having trouble with sleep, I really, really suggest you take this month and take this challenge, because it's going to really improve your life, and it's going to improve your energy, and it's going to improve the way you feel so good about being a mom.
I love it. Thank you for that plug. I think it's so important, and I hope you guys all do take that to heart. There's been so many good ways over the course of this month how to implement this, how to make it work. And I think we can all relate to what you were just saying, Emmy. I know for me, with all of my kids, those early days when you're not getting sleep, it's just so hard. And that, with newborns, right, we get to see the very far end of the spectrum, just how bad it can be with no sleep. But then as life kind of goes on and the kids hopefully start sleeping through the night and we're sleeping, we can see it get better. But I hope that we also notice that it can be a far end of the spectrum, right? There's the terrible newborn days on one side, and then on the other side, like optimal sleep. And I think most of us get stuck somewhere in the middle where we're not really optimizing our sleep. And as we work to bring it down to that other level, bring it to that optimal sleep, we'll start to see improvements. So yeah, the more we can kind of see the difference between, say, newborn days and a little bit better, we can also kind of project forward, okay, how it is now and how it could be. And so that's a hopeful thought of like, okay, there's even more if I get this right. So Emmy, you've shared a lot of great things with us today. I would love for you to share where people can find you and a little bit about how you work with people.
Oh, thank you, Chanel. Well, you can find me at Emmy Loumeau. It's EMMYLOUMEAU on Instagram. If you take a look at my bio, there's some links there to be able to read a little bit more about me and the way I work with people. I usually start by having a wellness scan, I call it, and it's like a health history form that I like people to fill out, so I can get a little bit like a scan of what their health and wellness is at that point, and a little bit of their history. And from there, I schedule a complimentary call with them, just to make sure that I like them to know how I am, and just speaking to each other, we can figure out, okay, I want this lady to help me out or not. And also I'm able to help them in whatever I find in their health history that needs to feel, where I feel they can be guided. And
Perfect.
just take them specifically from point A to point B, where they're looking to go in their health and wellness area.
Awesome. Okay, that sounds really good. You guys can go and check that out. And then finally, tell us about listeners. As you know, we have a challenge raffle copter for this month in February, and there are prizes that you can win. So, Emmy, tell us about what they can win from you.
Thank you. Well, I'm offering a wellness clarity session. And the reason I'm doing this is because we sometimes don't even know where to start. We're just overwhelmed with what should we do to feel better, be better, and just be our best. So I look forward to just having a winner for this raffle, and helping you guys to have clarity on where you should start and prioritize your wellness routines.
Perfect. Okay. So if you haven't yet, be sure to sign up for that. You can go to chanelnielsen.com/enter the challenge, enter the challenge. And there's links to that as well as Emmy's info in the show notes. You guys, thank you for listening. Emmy, thank you for being here. This is so important. The deeper we dive into sleep, the more that I am just realizing how important this is. And so I hope that this is one you're really taking seriously and taking little steps to just get more and better sleep this month. All right. Thanks again, Emmy. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Bye. Thank you for listening to Mom's Life Made Simple. I'm so glad that you're here, and I want you to join us for the 2023 Self-Care Challenge. Each month, we will be diving into a different area of simple self-care, learning how to create habits that allow you to make time for yourself. So to join the challenge, go to chanelnielsen.com/selfcare 2023. When you join, you'll get access to free downloads that help you to create and track your new habits, as well as a link to the community so that you can discuss and win prizes that the guests are sharing on the podcast. I'm so excited for you to make self-care part of your year in 2023.